Right, let's look at the altcoin review for the month and see what we can see with dubious speculation. So let's start with Bitcoin dominance. I think the monthly close on Bitcoin dominance last month was red, and I anticipated we always would go most likely above, back up on the candle before we get any sell-off. And we've had as a positive green close. The MACDs are all positive at the moment, as you can see. So we've got positive MACD. The RSI is not crossed yet. So that is still, and we don't have a divergence even on this between here and here. We don't yet, unless of course we use the closing of this candle, then we get divergence. So I think that because we've closed positively and the MACDs are all looking positive, I think chances are Bitcoin dominance also goes up, into August, most likely, and potentially gets rejected off this 60.25. If it closes above, if we have a positive close in August where Bitcoin closes above 59.82, then chances are very high that we're going to go and take liquidity off here. And there's a liquidity, we have a liquidity bowl here, which means there's liquidity sitting at the top here, which is likely to be taken. So that's what I see on Bitcoin dominance, and I'll move on to the next one. Let's move on to Rari. So if you look at Rari on the monthly chart, what did the monthly close look like? So monthly close was red, but most interestingly enough, the pace and the depth of the closing candles was very small. So very, very small candle here for the whole of July. So the sell, I think again, the sell was probably to take liquidity of this candle. We could still get another flash to the downside or to about maybe somewhere there, 0.07. We could do that before you get your move back up the other way. If Rari were to close above here in August, 0.0926 closing, that will be the end of the fall on Rari, and you can expect us to go for higher prices. The MACDs are all positive at the moment. MACDs are very positive at the moment. So, oh, what's happening to my MACD? Sorry. Okay, so I need to drag this down a little bit. Yeah, the MACDs are positive on the monthly chart. The RSIs are also very getting into positive territory. We are in the oversold territory at the moment. If I bring it quickly to the weekly chart, you can see here on the weekly chart, we've had the RSI diverging quite a bit for some time. So we had a big low here, and since here, we've been coming down and down and down and down, and RSI is still going up. So if I make this slightly bigger, you can see it's still going up, still higher. So I think, we are in the window of opportunity on Rari. And if this week closes green and the MACD on the long term changes to green, then, we are probably found the bottom on Rari, I would say, and higher prices. If it does go and close above that 0.9, which is here, close above this, then you are into a new expansion phase. There's a lot of liquidity sitting up here on this candle that needs to be harvested. So I won't be surprised that we get a big move that brings us all the way up back to about 33 on Rari. So that's what I see on Rari. Window of opportunity is opened. IMIX monthly close as well was red again, but again, very small bodied candle. And the MACDs are all looking quite positive at the moment. So, I would say, yes, we could flash down a little bit to maybe 0.08, somewhere there. But this is the window of opportunity. This is the window of opportunity somewhere between 0.08 and where we are now. So DCA approach probably is the best. If you bring it to the weekly, we've got, as you can see, the RSIs have been very, very positive. Undo what I just did there. Let's make the RSI, bring the RSI into view. You can see from here, we've been going down RSI, we've been going down and RSI still higher, down RSI still higher, down RSI still higher. So if you draw a line, it's up. The only thing we need is on the MACD to change momentum. The fast MACD also needs to change from a momentum perspective. So we got today and tomorrow. Let's see what the market does in terms of rally on altcoins. If we do get a rally and this changes to green, then and it closes above the 1276, then you could say your bottom potentially on IMX is here, but you're in the window of opportunity. So any buys from here, it's a great buy. Let's move on to the next one, optimism, OP. We like that too. OP on the monthly chart as well. So again, you can see that the MACDs are firing up. They are all looking beautiful. And I think on OP, we may have a double bottom actually, forming already. But you can see here, we've taken liquidity of that zone here, that zone. And if I bring it to the weekly chart, all the liquidity of this zone has been cleared up. So maybe you might go 2.08, I would say, but I see this coming back the other way to start clearing liquidity. If it closes above here, if we close above this candle, last month's candle, close last week, if this week, if we close above here, then you know you're going somewhere. So that's what I would say. Window of opportunity opened on OP as well. Let's look at Fatcoin. So Fatcoin on the monthly chart closed red, but you can see the sellers are absorbing the selling from what I can see. There's absorption taking place. There's still liquidity to the downside here that needs to be cleared. There's still liquidity to the here that needs to be cleared. So, I mean, to play it safe, if we close above 13.6, I should bring it here. We close above 16 on the monthly chart, then you know we're going somewhere. So you might as well just sit on the sidelines and wait. Because this one, I don't think we've cleared much of the liquidity that's down here. There's so much liquidity sitting on the base here. We don't have to necessarily clear it, but I think there's a high probability we do. And then if you go on the weekly chart, again, it's a very, very similar story. That liquidity clear up has been ongoing. So it depends on how we close. If we come and close above the 16 actually, yeah, we get a weekly close above 16, then the end of the fall is here on Fatcoin, and you should be looking for higher prices to the upside. But I think they will clear liquidity to this side before that happens. Let's move on to the next pair that we want to look. We have Zcash. So Zcash as well. We closed presumably green, but the MACDs are all not positive. So I think we probably may go slightly higher and then come back down again. I don't see this going to do new all-time highs, although there's liquidity to be taken to the upside. I think chances are it goes up first and then comes down. However, if the month were to close above 568, then you should be looking for higher prices. We're going to probably clear liquidity first before we get our send to the down. Let's step into the weekly quickly. And so if this week closes above here, 548, then yes, you're going to go for higher prices. So is it likely? I won't bet my money on it, but anything can happen. Let's move on to the next one. Move on to Aave. Aave has been looking good as well. So Aave on the month closed green as well. Aave closed green. Beautiful close. MACDs are all accelerating to the upside. This is what you want to see. I mean, there is possibility of a clear up, liquidity clear up to about 81 or even to some of these support zones here around the 70 or even bring it further. 67 is possible before, because there's liquidity sitting down here. So they could clear that liquidity before you get the go to the upside. But the window of opportunity is open, really. We're very close to the basis here. These are strong support zones. I don't expect we'll break it. So you're in the window of opportunity to buy RV. Looking really good. If you step into the week, yeah, bit of a liquidity grab is happening. I think they will probably sell it all the way down here. 73, 72, like I was saying, could come all the way down to 63. That would be a great buying opportunity. So all that is liquidity grab, and there's also liquidity to the upside here as well. So any sell to the down, I would use that as an opportunity to grab some cheap RV. Let's move on to the next pair, which is FET. So FET is here. It closed on the month, red close on the month, but the pace of the selling is decreasing. The long term, longer MACD is still positive, and I think this obviously was a liquidity clear up. So they've cleared all the liquidity here. I think there's a little bit left here. I would like to see us coming to here, 0.9, and that would be a really, really good place. But if price were to go and close above here, above 19, then chances are you're going to go higher. The actual test will be somewhere here around 26. Price closes around 26, then we're going somewhere. So, but I think there is a little bit of liquidity left to be cleared here before you get that move to the upside on FET. Let's move on to the next pair that we want to ICP. ICP is one of the coins that has got this liquidity target here around $9. For us to go back there, I think that we need to clear liquidity. There's quite a bit of liquidity here, down here, that needs to be cleared. If we got to 182, 180, or 175, that zone, then the liquidity is cleared. However, if ICP were to pump and close above 2.7, let's go 2.73 on a month, then you know where we're going, right? So you could basically either put orders down here to buy or wait for price to close above here and join the party. So that's ICP. And then move on to say, another one that we like. So say on the month also closed red, but the MACDs are all positive, very positive MACDs. This was obviously liquidity clear up from here. So we've cleared the liquidity. Any move probably will be slight move to the downside, maybe to 3.03 maximum, really, and you'll be going back up the other way. So that's what I see on say great buying opportunity at 0.04, and between 0.03 and 0.04, great buying opportunity there. Let's move on to the next pair, injective. We like this as well. On the monthly chart, we close green, and the MACDs are looking positive. You can see here that was a positive monthly close, and we've taken liquidity off. We've cleared some liquidity here. The RSIs are, so we had RSI base there. RSIs haven't given us a divergence yet, but this pink candle here, I think will be exceeded to the downside. But having said that, if price were to then close above here, which is 655, 656, then you should be looking for higher prices, not lower prices. It will be on its way back up to test the resistance, which is around $13. So that is on injective, but it's a great opportunity if it wicks to the 340s and probably even down here. Great opportunity to buy injective. Let's move on to the next pair, which is render. That's one too we like. We like render too. So render on the month also closed red. again, close red. There is potentially some liquidity all here, all around here. And you go big support zone here, sitting here, a big support zone. So I think if you get a wick into somewhere here, great buying opportunity on render as well. Let's move on to the last two that we want to pendle. We like pendle as well. Pendle on the month also green, closed green, but the MACDs aren't looking great. I think there's more liquidity to be grabbed to somewhere down here around 1.10. And if it breaks that, then of course you get more lower prices. But if it pendle were to go and close above here, that's close, a good close, any good close about 158. That area, that means you're going for higher prices. You shouldn't be looking for lower prices. Let's move on to the last pair. We talked about RV already. TAO. Let's have a look at TAO. TAO on the monthly chart, close red. And we've already we closed red in June, July red, but the pace of the sell is decreasing. We've come back all the way back to take the liquidity. All of this candles liquidity has been taken off. So I would say, any wicks to the downside is a great opportunity to buy. We've come back to the base. So any wicks to like 163 would be great buying opportunity on TLO. This here is a strong support zone here. So I think that is all the coins that I got to speak about. So wish you all the best for August. Great buying opportunities, golden opportunity. We are in the zone of opportunity. So, take advantage. All right.